Illy is a horror movie about a young boy named Illy who suffers from a rare autoimmune disease that forces him to live in a completely sealed environment. This movie opens with a young child running joyfully in the tropical sun. He sees his family before him and runs excitedly in their direction. He suddenly collapses to the ground, seeming to be having trouble breathing. He calls his parents for assistance because his skin has turned red. The next scene shows Illy waking up from the dream. He was the same child and kept having the same dream, which he had previously told her mother about. Illy had an unknown illness that prevented him from breathing normally outside. Illy's immune system also can't handle the poison outside. His skin will burn if he dares. Illy's parents decided to keep him in the plastic cover tent because he was a particular case. His food, water, clothing, and everything else were clean. Illy's mother, Rose, informs him that they are visiting Dr. Horn because she is certain she can treat her son's illness. Rose and Paul, Illy's parents, visited numerous medical professionals without success. Dr. Horn was, therefore, their last resort. They spent money on Illy's treatment, therefore, their financial situation was unstable. Illy also wore his unique anti-allergy jacket and another protective kit to shield him from the sun's rays. When they go outside, scoundrels tease Illy for being different from the others. Illy panics when crackers are thrown on his feet. Illy also slipped, causing his protective suit to tear from his leg. Illy began to fear and become scarlet, but her mother was able to calm him down. They relocated to the village where Dr. Horn resides. Rose instructs him to perform a magic act with a card that might improve his mood in the next scene. Illy noticed a girl on the swing observing him intently as he traveled. At the miracle worker's home, they arrived. From the outside, it seemed rundown and shabby. Illy entered the room since he needed to pass through the decontamination chamber as the door automatically opened. After that, he went inside and met Dr. Horn, Barbara, and Marisla, two of her nurses. Illy is also instructed to remove his allergy protection suit by Dr. Horn because the air in this house is clean. A place like this is a good fit for him. On the other hand, Illy wasn't prepared to take off his outfit. Illy further inquired as to how she would treat his illness. She responded by saying she would employ 3 techniques known as viral gene therapy. Illy was informed that his body's RAG1 and RAG2 genes were damaged. Dr. Horn decided to inject the virus to treat his illness. Illy further asked if you had fixed everything for her past patients. She just reassured him that things would improve. Illy noticed a shadow here, while some places were forbidden to visit since they were not cleansed. Illy and his parents had separate bedrooms. The fact that he could finally take a shower after a while was the best part. He takes off his suit to bathe and breathe in this environment. The action then cuts to Paul and Rose, who believe that Dr. Horn could save their son. Illy, on the other hand, noticed a bug outside the window. Illy observed an apparition blowing and scratching on the window's glass. Illy grew anxious. Illy spent the night in his parents' room. He tried to persuade Dr. Horn and their parents about the occurrence the following morning. On the other hand, Dr. Horn refers to it as a hallucination and disregards it. Dr. Horn took Illy to the medical room, where nurses took his picture and prepared him for the initial treatment. Illy discovered he had an illness 4 years ago. She injects the virus during the first procedure. She claims that this virus will restore his immune system. She also instructs him to count to 100. He also noticed a thing in the reflection before losing consciousness. The following scene shows Illy seeing himself shackled and pleading with the medical staff for assistance. He was in distress while they stood by helplessly. After waking from the dream, he noticed someone throwing tiny pebbles at the window. When he arrived here, he first noticed Haley. Speaking with her, Illy introduces himself. Haley performs a magic act for him, lighting a fire in her palm. Illy invites her to enter the home, but Haley needs to get along better with Dr. Horn. She is also described as a creepy woman. In addition, Haley nicknamed him Houdini since she dislikes his name. She leaves. When Illy entered his room again, the light flickered, and he once more noticed a strange girl standing awkwardly. He became alarmed as she approached him. Paul arrived in the room and yelled at him to take out the drip. Illy's conduct was strange during the dinner table, and he informed them that Dr. Horn had a problem. Illy said Dr. Horn was to blame for everything that had happened to him. He also wants to leave this place. Once his mother persuades him, he again applies a drip in his hand. Using a drip, they infuse the water. The wardrobe opened while he attempted to decipher Haley's magic trick late at night. He could see someone behind the curtain via the open closet door. Illy went to check, but someone else was there. Illy nonetheless also blows and writes his name Illy on the window's glass. Nevertheless, the invisible being changes the word and creates a lie. In the mirror, he noticed a female whose attire was stained with blood. Illy was pulled inside by a female who had just emerged from the closet. Once Illy's parents arrived, they were shocked to see him in such bad condition. Illy faints with extreme terror. Dr. Horn also arrived to examine him. She explains to Paul and Rose that the medication's negative effects are to blame. She also claims that his condition would worsen before improvement. He was returned to the medical room, where they punctured his head the following day. Billy's face went red during the second surgery, and he screamed. Billy doesn't want to continue the therapy, thus, the scene shifts to the dining room table. Billy claims that this treatment was making his illness worse. As the only treatment for his illness, his father reprimanded him and made him take the prescription. He accepted the next procedure for the sake of his parents. Haley tosses stones at the window at night. Billy smiled at her while hearing voices. A shadow that he saw abruptly disappeared. Billy also closes the open tap. He noticed blood from his nose in the bathroom mirror. The light went out, and from behind the curtain came a hand. He scrambled to his room and attempted to unlock the locked door. He ran into the wardrobe as the thing approached him. The creature was now violently shaking and scratching the wardrobe. His parents eventually showed up after the ghost had vanished. The damaged wardrobe has numerous engravings of the word Ali made by the ghost. The scene changes to Ali persuading them that he did nothing. Instead, to save himself, he entered the wardrobe. He makes an effort to persuade them that the house is possessed. Dr. Horn claims that none of her prior patients has ever reported seeing spirits at this location. Billy was furious and fled to his room. In the subsequent scene, Haley returns to greet him. He mentioned the haunting nature of this house. Unexpectedly, Haley had faith in him because Perry expressed a similar sentiment. Perry was Dr. Horn's former patient. Haley didn't see Perry again following the third operation. Perry also reported seeing a strange creature in this home, proving Dr. Horn was lying. Billy goes outside to investigate as the light begins to flicker. Billy nevertheless noticed spirits outside. He was dragged by these 3 spirits and sent to the decontamination chamber. Billy became extremely anxious since the door was about to open and may potentially be fatal. Dr. Horn quickly interfered to save him and dragged him inside the house. Billy asked Dr. Horn about Perry despite his heavy breathing. When Dr. Horn became perplexed, she denied knowing him. Billy loses consciousness after accidentally hurting himself out of rage. Ellie receives a pill from Dr. Horn as the film continues. Yet Rose opted to complete this task on her own. He went to her son and persuaded him to believe what she had to say. Rose, however, believed that what Ellie witnessed was not accurate. Billy smiled and deceived her into believing he had taken medication. He didn't. Billy was also aware of the messages the ghosts were trying to convey. Using the term lie, he was demonstrating a sort of code to him. Dr. Horn also burns Ellie's protection suit in addition to this. Ellie, on the other side, tells Haley the code's secret. According to Haley, this code might unlock a door. Billy began to doubt Haley because he had failed to open the door with her. Billy decided to visit the medical room at night after Haley had explained the circumstances. Billy left for his task at night. After entering the 317 code, he entered the operating room. Someone was calling Ellie's name while he was looking for something. Rose also wanted to know what Dr. Horn and Paul were discussing. Paul informs her that Ellie's condition is worsening and his recovery prospects are decreasing. She was astounded to learn that the third treatment endangered Ellie's life. Rose now wished to go as quickly as possible. She cannot endanger Ellie's life. Despite his best efforts to persuade her, she refused to listen to Paul's arguments. Also, Dr. Horn went to check after hearing Paul and Rose arguing. Billy learns about Dr. Horn's earlier patients. He could see that no one had survived after the third surgery. Agnes, Lucius, and Perry were all gone. They were all ghosts seeking to assist Ellie. To tell his parents about this, Ellie ran to them. Rose, on the other hand, loaded the bags into a car. Dr. Horn persuades her that she will be able to heal Ellie, so she decided to back Dr. Horn. Paul and Ellie enter the scene now. Paul tells Ellie a tale while giving him an injection, but since he was still conscious, injecting was useless. Meanwhile, Dr. Horn and her nurses hauled him to the operating room. Tilly hurried to the hospital room to look for the file, but it was gone. Tilly was yelling at them, claiming she wanted to kill him. In the third surgery, she also loses all of her patients. Tilly was not, however, prepared for the third surgery. He, therefore, avoids them all and shuts the door to the room. Billy also saw a photo in which Dr. Horn was dressed as a nun. Hence, she was a nun. A bug also revealed to him the hidden location behind the wall simultaneously. He descended and noticed a cross mark here. He had difficulty breathing because of how unkempt and filthy this area was. Dr. Horn arrived in the basement and closed the gate to prevent Ellie from escaping. When Ellie contacted their parents, they ignored him and left. Ellie began to lose consciousness as his skin began to become red. Ellie feels that he has made amends when he awakens. He shouted to their parents about it because he was delighted. Ellie soon concluded that their parents were lying. Although their parents lied to him, he was fine. Additionally, the third procedure is being prepared for by Dr. Horn and the staff. Rose informs Dr. Horn that she will meet with his son. Rose sits by the door and doesn't unlock it. Ellie is informed that she is forced to lie to him and has no choice. She wished to shield him from the outside world. Rose claims that she is solely to blame. Ellie makes a fake faint while Rose tries to open the door. Ellie assaulted her when she approached him and then fled. Ellie fled to his room and locked it while everyone tried to take him down. Ellie attempted to smash the glass window with the cylinder while Haley was perched on it. Ellie tells her he wants wants to escape since everyone is attempting to kill him. Rose, on the other hand, wakes up and pulls a dagger from the cross-shaped sign. Haley urged him to do so, but Paul came in and stopped him. He was being brought into the operating room so they could start the third surgery. Haley reassured him not to worry since they should be terrified of him because his father was behind him. Rose finds the bodies of 3 children in the hidden room. It indicated that Eli was telling the truth. Dr. Horn's treatments are never successful. Rose hurried to the medical room after grabbing the dagger. The scene changes to his father and nurses binding him from the stretcher and changing his clothes. Rose arrives at this point, brandishing a dagger, and yells at everyone to leave her son. She will murder Dr. Horn if she doesn't. Paul fooled her wife into believing he was on her side before stealing the dagger. Paul instructs the doctor to carry on the third procedure. Also, he holds his wife from disturbing them. Dr. Horn also sprays him with holy water. His body was glowing red from holy water, also causing boils. Furthermore, Dr. Horn read from the Bible in front of him. Billy screamed in protest because he despised this. Billy utilized his strength to force Dr. Horn to stab herself as she prepared to stab him. Dr. Horn stabbed herself and became quite terrified. Billy escapes his captivity. Billy refuses to let Dr. Horn and the nurses go from here. Billy caused them to rotate and fly through the air. What they were doing to him also caused him to wonder. His body was filled with holy water, according to her mother. She also says that he was the devil's offspring. She pleaded with God and begged him to give her a child, but he refused. She asked the devil for something, and he gave him to her. Since the devil lies, he claims that his offspring will be human. Now, using his incredible skills, she burns nurses and Dr. Horn. Paul was about to assault him as well, but Eli ruthlessly killed him. The next scene does not have Eli killing his mother. Tilly met Haley outdoors after setting the home on fire. Eli was stronger than anticipated, so Haley was pleased to meet him. Haley's half-sister Haley was a devil's offspring as well. These were siblings of Dr. Horn's earlier victims but lacked the strength to resist. Haley leads them to the devil in the last scene. Billy shared her mother's faith. Billy helped Rose, who was perplexed, just as she had helped him when he had become anxious. To meet the devil, they moved. To watch a review of exciting movies, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.